if you had just 1 minute. 1 minute. To be skeptical. What would you say? What ideas would you produce? This is the 1 Minute Skeptic!
How do you explain a fallacy to someone that's never heard of the word fallacy?
Usually, I think it's more useful to explain why a particular line of reasoning doesn't lead to a realistic conclusion instead of just calling it a fallacy. Even if the other person does know what a fallacy is, it's still useful to show them where they made a mistake. It's not only useful to the other person, but for yourself as well to make sure you really understand why it's a fallacy and why that line of reasoning doesn't work. Take, for example, post hoc ergo propter hoc. This is when you make the assumption that because two things happen after each other, there is a cause and effect relationship between the occurrences. I put special herbs under my pillow for the night and my cold was gone the next day. Therefore, the herbs cured my cold. Or, my child got a vaccine and then he was diagnosed with autism. It must have been the vaccine that gave my child autism. This doesn't work because you're not taking into account the insane amount of things that could have had an influence, or the fact that colds often resolve on their own, whether you put herbs under your pillow or not. Autism is likely something a child is born with. It's at least partially genetic, but the environment within the womb may also play a role in whether a child will turn out to be autistic. It just so happens that symptoms of autism start to become more obvious around the same time that childhood vaccines are given, so a lot of children with autism get their diagnosis around that same time. The only way to really be sure whether one thing causes something else is by doing studies that are properly controlled. Controlled, in this case, means that any other factors that could influence the results are taken into account. You make sure that the study groups are as similar as possible, except for the thing you want to study. One group got herbs under their pillow, and the other didn't. Vaccines have been thoroughly studied to see if they cause autism. They don't. But it's important to remember that calling out a fallacy should not be the end-all of a discussion. That's where one of my favorites comes in. The fallacy. This is calling someone's argument a fallacy and then assuming that they are wrong because they made a bad argument. No, that doesn't work. This person may have made a bad case for their point of view, but there could still be better arguments out there. Maybe this person is right for the wrong reasons, or they're just not very good at arguing for it. Someone could present a really bad case for the theory of evolution, but that doesn't stop evolution from being true. I think this is really something to watch out for when calling out fallacies.
This has been the 1 Minute Skeptic. Post your questions and or comments to our skeptics in the comment section below.